Breakdowns.
Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. We are on episode 120. This is a big one. We got a return guest. Actually, you're here about 30 episodes later. I think I'm looking at yours right behind it. It's 91. But yeah, so we have Billy and Cody from Borland. What's going on, man?
What's up, man?
Man, not too much, man. I'm hanging out, doing this, chilling. I think it's been like a couple weeks. I missed like 1 week since doing podcasts, so I'm getting back into it. But this one's kind of exciting because Mona's doing a whole bunch of new shit, and I am very happy that you sent me the EP before, because that's kind of like I'm what I'm gonna be focused like talking about like on this podcast is new music that I didn't really realize until I think I saw the poster. It was like, yeah, first thing we've released in like 2 years, and I'm like, holy shit, it has been 2 years. Yeah. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. How when did this whole like new sound and music kind of like the inception happen?
You go ahead.
No, I mean, we've just, I don't know how it really, it didn't really, wasn't like we planned on it or anything. You know, we're really not the most active band, as, anybody who lives around here would know, but we've been around for a minute, and we weren't, really doing a whole lot for some years, and life gets busy, and, we got a couple family men in the band. But yeah, I don't know. We just started working on some new music, kind of like, I think we started off kind of repurposing or kind of finishing a song we had been working on
in the past,
a long time ago.
That Switchblade
intro
of it, at least.
This is a song we're about to put a music video out for on the 15th of this month. But and then when we finished it, it was like pretty heavy, and we were like, yeah, we'll just put out like one heavy single, like have like, that'd be fun, just put out like a really heavy single. Like we haven't put out a song in a while. And then I don't know, I feel like somebody just said like we should just do a couple songs, or like do a little promo, and then it became
I think it was probably like me and you chatting while setting up for practice or something. And like it might be cool to just do a whole heavy EP.
Yeah. It'll be like our zombie EP, or something. Just like heavy, stripped down, and then we just decided to do that. And then we just started writing those songs, and I don't really know like when we finished writing them, like last year for sure, right? Like
I mean, the process with us generally takes a long time anyways, just from work schedules and all that. But also, I'm doing our EP basically myself, and I have paying clients coming in too, so that always kind of like puts stuff to the side shortly here and there. But yeah, I mean, it was probably over a year full process as far as like starting the writing process for that one song, and then that turning into, hey, let's do a whole EP. So then then writing 3 more songs with that in mind, of like trying to keep it a cohesive sound as far as just being like all heavy. First time we've ever written anything that didn't have melodic stuff, so no singing. First tracks we've ever written with no cleans or rough singing voice, stuff like that. So it took a while.
So Switchblade, finishing that song is kind of what inspired, kind of like, what if we just kind of mess around with this more? But yeah, I did want to bring that up because that is an overall, like, the biggest difference in this EP is that it's all heavy and like really heavy. And then because I was like, oh, when is like, I go, how is this heavy going to transition into like the melodic parts that I'm used to, like with Momo? I was like, there's got to be some in here.
It ain't coming, baby.
Like,
don't hold your breath, baby.
It never came. But it is heavy as shit, and it's really fucking cool. And one of the first things I noticed was like, oh yeah, when I finished it, I'm like, oh, there was absolutely no singing on there. And like I said, I just received what you said that like an hour and a half ago or whatever. So I like listened to it twice.
Fresh.
I was like, so it's fresh on the mind. But I'm just like, I was like writing bullet points for every song, and I'm just like every like heavy. Like it was just like, I was just like, okay, like I was gonna be like, oh, this is the heavy song, and it was like, oh no, like it's all like heavy. The drums though, there is this repeating almost like I'm not a drummer. You're gonna tell that real soon.
I barely am either. So go ahead.
But it feels like it reminds me of just like hammering down on shit. But it's the snare that's just like I think it happens repeatedly through like
blast beats
a few songs. Yeah, and so that was like a big thing in me that added like this intensity into it. There is a little bit of this like panicky and I'm terrible at describing music, but it's this kind of like the chaotic stuff I'm used to on, I think it's track 3, which would be Lock It In, I think. Which adds it back in. So it gave me a little bit reminiscent of like, oh, okay, there's some little like.
Throwing in like more of the dissonance and kind of like odd patterns, especially the intro riff.
Yes.
That it's hard for me to stray away from that because I'm just like so obsessed with Norma Jean and all that chaotic like metalcore from back in the day. So it's hard to stray away from that, even though we kind of had it in mind to do more of an overall like OG deathcore sound for the EP, but I still think that we were able to blend that sound in, with that style, and it seems like, all the transitions still work really well. It's not just like sticks out like a sore thumb type of thing. No. It perfectly like fit into the song without it feeling like it just took like a crazy turn. You know what I mean? Like it was still like tastefully like put into where it served the song, I guess, but yeah, definitely like a lot heavier. The vocals, Matt's vocals like were really fucking intense like throughout the whole thing. So was there any initial, I mean, I know you say like it came up like during a practice of like, oh, what if we just kept doing like heavier stuff? Was there any like pushback from the rest of the band or anybody else of like, I don't want to really change the sound, or everyone's kind of on board?
I think everyone's pretty stoked on it.
Yeah, I mean, we've all always been into heavy music. I would say like our vocalist Matt is probably the one that like ventured or had more of like a melodic bass for a lot of his influences. But I mean, he's always been into heavier stuff as well. It's just, especially for like me and Billy, and I know Josh too, he's the only one that's not like kind of grew up with us in middle school and high school. So I can't say for sure, but from previous bands and stuff that he was in, you can kind of tell that we all were really about like the heavy shit back in the day, especially. And it just works out like now, a lot of that style is coming back. Yeah. So it was like one of those things where it was like, well, it would be cool to kind of play this stuff that we've always been into, just never actually completely written that way, So it was like, let's just try it out. And I think it didn't really matter what style it was going to be. We were all just really stoked to be stoked on the band again type of thing,
Totally.
Yeah.
For everyone just to be like really motivated to like throw in ideas and actually like take something serious and work on it, flesh out the ideas so that we could put some new shit out.
Yeah, because I think when you were here last time, I think we slightly touched on like Mona, and it was just like, yeah, everyone's kind of, and it's funny because like with this, I went back and like listened to when Massey had a podcast and had Matthew on there, and I was like listening. But it's funny because like you guys mentioned like a similar thing where it's just like everybody in Mona is kind of just like, we want to keep doing this because it's like fun. So like. And just wanting to do it for that reason. Like, it's not necessarily because we're trying to, like, pursue any one thing. It's just, like, pursuing making, like, cool shit that, like, excites you. So it feels like that's what this kind of did, like, from what you're saying. And just made you guys stoked, like, to write shit again.
Yeah, dude, totally. I know I'm super excited. I mean, we're all really excited about it. It's definitely been, like, a catalyst of just new energy and kind of, like, recommitment. But, like, also while still just having fun. Like, we're not... pushing ourselves to the point of where it's like be like stressful or anything, but we're definitely like doing, at least for like our standards, that the Morning Borland like average output, we're doing a lot more than we usually do. Like we're
actually investing in a music video for this material.
I mean, all the stuff with the release,
working on like reaching out to promote and stuff like that.
Trying to promote it and. New shirts, a little bit more shows than we've ever played. Like,
well, I like even like how the logo rebrand like goes like so fucking well with like the new sound.
Dude, I did love the logo.
Yeah, the logo was sick. Like I remember seeing it and I'm like, oh, like that's different. And then but then hearing the music, I'm like, makes perfect fucking sense. You know what I mean? It just goes really well. And then and seeing like a little bit more of like that. Push and content stuff that like is going out there, which can be fun if you make it fun for yourself.
Totally,
you know what I mean?
man. Yeah, I know. We've never been like the best. I feel like we've never been like the it never really came natural to any of us, like how to really promote things super well.
And like social media.
Yeah, like how to,
you know, other than just like making a regular post, like figuring out what exactly is getting clicks and all that kind of stuff. And
some bands are way better at it, you know, or maybe I think they're probably just putting in the time to learn how to be good at it. But you know,
for sure.
I think we kind of were like, we were just so proud of the music, and it was kind of just like, we might as well put in the effort to try to push it out a little bit, and and you know, maybe play some more fun shows this year and have some more fun with it. And we all just really stoked for the future now, you know.
The playing more shows like that, those songs like live are gonna fucking go crazy. Like that's what I think, especially when I was listening to it. Have you guys already played some of these?
So actually the last 2 shows we played the whole EP.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh shit, okay.
And then the mailing, we did the mailing one. We played like, I think 2 new songs or 3 new songs, and then 2 or 3 older ones, because it wasn't a really all heavy show, right? I mean, mailing's heavy in their own right, but you know, we were going to stand out like crazy if we just had that, you know. So we figured, like, you know, we want to showcase this stuff for sure, so we'll play like 2 of them, but we still picked some melodic ones. But the last show we just did at Haltom like a few weeks ago, we played the entire new EP, plus like a new intro we wrote for that style, and then, which I'll circle back around to that. But and then we also played another new song, which is not even like recorded technically. I mean, we have demo with like MIDI drums, like scratch vocals and an idea down, but it's just like a newer song that we wrote that, you know, kind of like continuing the heavy style, still different than what we have on the EP, but we were just like, we need more time to fill. We don't want to play another old song, so let's just try to get this new one ready to play live. And
is it, you know. So is this EP, I know we're like just talking about, it releases at the end of the month, correct? Okay. But does this sound seem to be like, do you feel like it's going to be like a giant influence on like where the band goes next?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I would say yes and no. It's like, for sure, like we're trying to like keep this momentum, you know, as far as like everyone being stoked and just like getting together to jam and write new shit. But we've always been a type of band where we're really just like do whatever we want, right? And even more so since we kind of like made that decision to be more chill about the band and not like make it this thing that is like a stress on everyone's life. It's just for fun, right? So who knows? I mean, maybe another release or so away, then we start, you know, going back in opposite direction. I don't know, you know, we'll have to see, but for now, for sure, I think that energy is there. It feels new again for us, so like I want to try to ride that wave as much as possible,
for sure.
And it's just been like really fun to just write heavy shit.
So it's the best, dude. And like as far as the immediate future goes, like, I mean, we want to put out a couple new songs at the end of the year too. It's not a secret or anything, but like that's one, you know, one of those new songs is going to be on that with like a two track like promo, and those are just straight heavy too, you know. So we're still kind of doing that, but also just kind of tweaking it a little bit, throwing in like different stuff. So yeah, I think we'll probably stay in that way. But then who knows what happens, you know? We have so many influences.
Yeah, it's hard to battle them all off, you know.
I mean, even with the CP, like we were like, you know, let's try to do like kind of old school deathcore stuff, and like there's a lot of that in there, but it's kind of like we can't even help but still put some of that Mono Borland like little twang on it. You know, Matt's strained vocals, like, you know, just those little like characteristics. I think is like, it makes it a cool thing because it's like you can see what we're going for, but then it still has our own little twist on it.
Yeah, which I think is what people like about bands, being able to tell that like almost signature like thing about that band into every like new iteration of like that band. So like you'll see a band evolve and be like, oh, but this is still, there's a little bit in there of like, you know, something on the previous EP or something on that, which is kind of how I felt going through it and listening to it. And I'm like, wait, like, okay, like there's a little bit of that.
We used to talk about that all the time, or kind of similar, but like in terms of like Norma Jean.
Yeah.
You know, like how many, I mean, it's different than us because they've had a lot of members, but like they've had so many different like configurations of the band, and like their albums are all kind of different, but you still can hear it and be like, oh, that's definitely Norma Jean.
And those kind of bands are always my favorite. Like Norma Jean, I mean, Under Oath has done it as well. He is legend. Job for a Cowboy. I mean, started off straight up deathcore, and then just over the years went through death metal and tech, and now they're in the proggier side of things. Like, I love that, and that's kind of like what I personally have always strived to do is like, maybe have that signature sound that I write riff wise or whatever, but still trying to evolve constantly.
Yeah, I think as like see if like you relate to this, but like as like being someone who's like been in a band and like actually gotten a chance to like write music and stuff like that, it definitely changed my perspective on like seeing bands or musicians change their sound, because I used to be very defensive when people change this. I didn't get it.
Dude,
I'm like, why?
We've all been
I go, why?
I still am. I still get mad when a band I like changes the sound. I'm a musician. But it's damn like, it.
As a musician, like I feel like I understand it. I don't necessarily like. I'm like, oh, I like all of it, but I'm just like, I was like, okay, I get it. Like you're just trying to do something that is fun for you. Like, hopefully that's the case. Hopefully it's because like, dude, okay, obviously writing the same record over and over is not going to be fun.
I mean, who wants to? I mean, a few bands have done that and done it well. Like, I mean, Cannibal Corpse or something. But like, yeah, you gotta get super bored playing the same style, forever. And some of these bands have been around for 10, 20 years.
Yeah,
I can imagine. You got to evolve and do something different to keep it fresh for yourself. So I get it for sure.
I think Linkin Park was always like my reference, like for like the biggest changes and stuff. But then like it's just because like but I changed along with like the band. You know what I mean? Because I was like, I think Hybrid Theory was really one of the first things that ever really get me into anything off the, I guess, kind of mainstream, although they I guess ended up being sort of mainstream at the end, but but seeing that change from that to like Meteora is already like a big change, and I love Meteora. And then even like I think Minutes to Midnight I think is where I kind of stopped, but still seeing that change, I was like, oh, I was still like, there's still stuff in here that I like. It's just different, you know what I mean? But yeah, and as I became a musician and started like actually writing music, and I'm like, oh, I completely like get it, you know what I mean? Like you always want to be pushing to see what else you can do with stuff, and you're always like gaining new influences that you just want to be like, this is fucking cool. Let me see if I can put that in or make something with it,
Oh, for sure. And I think it's like part of the fun of changing your sound too is you're never sure, like, well, the people that fucked with us before are still gonna like the new stuff with a completely different sound or a big vibe change. That kind of makes it exciting because you're taking a risk, right? So you're not just playing it safe your whole music career or whatever. You want to try to test things out, and you may see certain responses that will help guide your decisions moving forward in the next thing you write too. So I mean, for me, it's like when a band changes their sound, I try to have an open mind about it, even if it doesn't sound like what got me into them in the first place. I'm like, well, there's a reason why they're changing their sound, right? So let me try to like accept that and listen to it and see, like what you were saying, if there's at least some stuff I can find that I vibe with. And then it could be one of those things where like a year later that album is like on my rotation all the time.
That happens a lot, to me, where I'm just like, nah, I don't like
tons of albums that I didn't like when they first came out, and then a year or two later, or even 5 years later, I'm like, damn, why didn't I like this at the time? This is fucking awesome.
I went through the same thing with JoJo Siwa, because her new music is so different. But then when you give it a second,
I can't get used to. She's like a bad girl now. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
Well, he's really been getting into choreography lately, so I think that's really where he connected.
I have what they call dancer's feet. I have a dancer's feet.
So you just got to dance. After this, you're gonna do the. You're gonna try to do the dance.
I can do the dance.
You're talking about promo. We just put a motive song behind it.
He's working on a number for the next single.
Yeah, for the next single. That's what you need now. So you're
next
talking
video
about promotion and stuff. You need a dance.
Yeah,
you need to make a dance
with a ribbon.
I just don't know if I don't know if people are ready. We'll see.
Well, it's a risk. You gotta take the risk.
It's true. This is true.
No, it's true.
Okay, so I think this episode comes out right before the EP comes out. Like it's like that week of. But so I don't know if this will be like a spoiler or anything. But there is like sound bites throughout the EP, and all three of them are from Shutter Island. Like, so what is?
They are.
Yeah. What is that like? Who came up with that? Is that a big inspiration like for the EP, or where does that come from?
Honestly, go ahead.
I mean, I was just going to say, like, I know when we talked about trying to do this kind of OG deathcore, influence sound, that was one thing we always remembered from back in the day, like going to shows back in like 07, and you were watching this heavy ass band and they always have these random drops, which, depending on the band, a lot of them would be like comical, right? Mm-hmm. Or something creepy from like a horror movie. So we were like, it would be cool if we also like pay homage to that as well, right? And throw some clips in there. As far as the specific clips, it was kind of Matt and Billy that were tossing back and forth the Shutter Island stuff.
Technically, honestly, me. Matt suggested, which is a thing he likes to do. I suggested it one time, and then weeks later he said, "Hey, what about Shutter Island?" And I said, "You son of a bitch, scroll up." But no, he had some.
The one that I suggested
he had some good
was
ones
from
too.
Semi Pro.
Which
the
one?
Will Ferrell movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that quote?
It was the part where they're like sitting playing poker and he calls him a jive turkey and he's like, whoa. He's like, called you a cocksucker. That's what I wanted.
No one called you a JT.
Yeah.
No, but I think we were like, damn, we kind of, if we're going to do like funny and then serious, like maybe we should just pick one or the other. And then when we
decided maybe we'll do some funny ones for live later,
Okay.
I know, I really want to do an Arrested Development one.
Yeah.
It'd be good for live though. It'd be good for live. But yeah, honestly, I wish we had a cooler story, but it was just some cool clips we found and we just wanted to kind of pay homage, like the sound clips from the old days and stuff, and then we just kind of landed on those, and it sounded good, so we're like, all right, let's do it.
No, it did.
They set the vibe.
I literally like because it happens like it starts off the EP, and then like there's one like in the middle, and then at the end, and I'm like, I like, and then they progress really nicely also. So like the story, I mean, lyrically, I don't know like what the contents are completely, so I'm like, I wonder if this like flows with it.
We don't either.
Whatever.
This is where it would be great to have Matt here to talk about.
Do you guys post your lyrics? Like,
I believe so.
I think we've only ever posted them on Bandcamp. So some like older songs have them up there, but other than that, I don't think anybody really knows what I'm saying.
It is
the way it should be.
It is the way it should be.
No, you don't want to read
it's up to interpretation.
You don't want to know what's going on inside his mind.
What do you think it's about? That's it.
Well, I never read them. I have a hard rule that I would never read a word that man has written. So
It's a rule.
It's been a rule for a long time.
No, it's
better this way.
It's kind of funny because like there are a lot of the songs where as I'm listening I know what he's saying, but it's not like, in our song Blood I know all the lyrics. No, it's like I learn the part that I sing. You know what I mean? I read them all when he sends them. I'm like, sounds dope. Cool. I like this. I like the vibe. Which part am I singing? Or can I use this part to sing? And then he's like, and that's basically it. Like, but I mean, I do know, that again with the more aggressive sound, it kind of worked out for like a time in Matt's life where he was angry about some stuff. So it just lined up to where he was inspired, to write some more, I guess, aggressive lyrics, and that also played into his more aggressive sound on his, vocal takes and stuff. Because he still does like that voicey strain that Billy was talking about, kind of scream that we've always had in our music that Matt really has been doing since we played in a band together in high school. But, then implemented with more of like the aggressive highs and more lows than he would normally do, which is kind of something that like we pushed in the studio. It's like, all right, love that take. Let's try it like this as well, and then kind of do a shootout and pick what suits, each part. But that sound that he does, that strained vocal, I think is kind of like signature for our overall sound throughout all our material. So I think that was a good thing for us to keep, doing, because again, it kind of anchors us to that Mona Borland sound. So
it took definitely a way more aggressive like take on it, but it's still that same similar vocal like technique, which was cool. I was like, this is how you would use this and still make it like heavier, fit into like a heavier song.
And it's a little different than what maybe a majority of that kind of band does, right? So it's just something else we can have that separates us just a little bit, while still kind of fitting into that heavier vibe.
Yeah, I would also say too, just to give Matt some flowers on a rare occasion, but he's a really good lyricist.
Oh yeah.
I don't know that anybody will actually take the effort, but like if you would to go read the lyrics on Bandcamp for whatever's up there, that would be pretty cool because they're really good. He's always been an amazing lyricist, in my opinion. But the funny thing is like
wordsmith,
and he is, and that's why his influence comes, I think, a lot into play because he's always been really into like a lot of those kind of, I don't know, wordy but like smart lyricists, like I don't know, like Jordan Buckley from Every Time I Die,
or like
or Keith Buckley from Every Time I Die, or Say Anything, Max Beamish from Say Anything and stuff like that. So his lyrics have always been kind of unique to me. But the funny thing is, like he'll send lyrics and they're like really well written and like really good, and I'll read them and like I'll know they're good, but I just don't appreciate poetry at all. Like it's like looking at a picture of mud. Like I'm just like, okay, there's no emotion. I can't feel the words until I hear it against the music. So he'll send these lyrics that are like awesome, and I'm like,
I get
cool,
that.
It's like it's cool.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely, especially when you're writing music, you need to like have the music to really get the full effect. At least, I mean, I'm with you. Like in my eyes, it's the same thing. Like I need to be able to hear, how are you saying? Like I can read this, I go, but how are you saying this? You know what I mean? Like is it aggressive? Are you singing it? Like are you making this sound? Whatever. Because I had that when I was playing in a band, and I would like, because I would do vocals and write stuff and be like, I would show people like, he's like, oh, what do you think about this? And he's like, I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, hold on, let me. I go, give me a second, you'll get it. But yeah, it is a big part of that. But that's really cool. Yeah, I think a lot of people do. You're kind of one or the other. Like, and I used to be very heavy into like, I need to know what you're saying, and I have become less.
Yeah,
really.
Back in the day, anytime I would buy a CD, the first thing I'd do is put it in, open up the lyric book, read along. You know, just to kind of
love that. Like,
but it's just one of those things. I think maybe with age and busy with tons of different things. It's just like, really, I will maybe look into the lyrics if the song really blows me away, or if I'm like, what the hell is he talking about right here or there? You know what I mean? And then like look on Spotify where they have the, I don't know what the fuck it's called, but where it auto generates the lyrics or whatever. Yeah, I'll do that from time to time if I have time to. But most of the time, if I'm listening to music, it's while I'm cleaning or whatever, so I'm not like able to do that
to sit down. And, like, so like it's funny, like it's kind of brings back to both points that we're talking about here, but you mentioned Max Bemis, and my fiance and I are going to When We Were Young in Vegas this year.
Oh,
so we were trying to listen to every album completely, and then we were gonna do like little videos about it. But she would mention something. She's like, yeah, like I feel like when I was listening to this and like listening to the lyrics, like I was like better than everybody. Like cause I was like, because it's so like that funny. Like high, like I guess that there. I mean, and it's funny because we had both just listened to the album, and I'm like, I didn't pay attention to shit. Yeah. Like I think I knew like three songs that I was like, okay, I heard the words in those, but the rest of them I was just vibing, like I was like taking it in. And we were talking like, no, I would have to sit down and like play it and then read at the same time, like otherwise I'm not catching a lot of stuff. Like sure. I don't, my brain doesn't work like that way. But yeah, I used to do it a lot. I used to definitely like, I was the one like first thing, like a song's out, like I need to go up and like look up what they're saying, like in order for me to understand it. Now a lot of it is just like, am I having fun? Cool. Yeah, like, I'm cool with that. Like,
for sure. I've usually been like that. I usually have never cared that much about reading the lyrics to songs. I mean, maybe if I'm like really bored, I'll look it up, but
it's not like after us saying all this, not to say it's not important, because there are people, who that is a huge thing for them still. And, that's why it's important, I feel like, to have a good lyricist. I guess, like, for me, maybe Billy feels the same way, is like we don't worry about it as much because we know he has all that stuff under control. You know what I mean? It's like
department.
And and we don't like necessarily have themes constantly in our mind of like, oh, we need to write about this, so we're recommending him stuff. It's just like, dude, whatever you're feeling for this track or that, or maybe you just have lyrics that you wrote without any music, when you were feeling this type of way or whatever, let's throw this on the song and see how it clicks,
Yeah.
So it really just comes down to how it's expressed with the music for us.
Definitely. Yeah. And it's funny because like I used to, again, I was the one writing all that stuff, and I used to take time and take very care, like this is why this is like is said or blah blah blah. But yeah, the band was usually like, "What's the song about?" And I'd be like, "Oh, it's like this," and he's like, "Cool." Like that's as much. I don't need to know anymore.
That works.
Like, right, that works. Yeah. But because of that, some cringy lyrics have made it through, and I'm like, this is your fault too. Like, you let me do this. But yeah, I think there's a time and a place for it for me. Like, there's sometimes where I will be like obsessed with music and like we'll go back. I'm like, I need to know what this like is saying. You know what I mean? Or I'll catch one lyric and be like, what the fuck? Like, how did this like? It's like I was just like, not paying attention to the whole movie, and then all of a sudden like, wait, hold on, how the fuck we get here? And I'm like, all right, I need to figure that out.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so the new EP is definitely a lot heavier sound, and you're doing a lot more stuff for it. But yes, this actually, well, I guess first of all, we're talking lyrics. Today's Matt's birthday.
It is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when we're filming this, it is Matt's birthday. So happy birthday!
Happy birthday 2 weeks ago, Matt.
Big dog. Yeah, right.
Send me the lyrics. I will read them. I would have read them. They're not out.
One single tear just rolled down his eye.
It's like, that's why I didn't fucking go.
He's an old man.
Yeah. But yes, also this week is you were mentioning it before, but you are releasing a music video, which is for the second song off the EP. So
second song, second single. Yeah.
Second single, yeah. And that you worked with Marco from Polarized My Films, right? The set looks crazy. Like, so where was this? Like
Dude, just some, just like a little studio.
Prophecy Studios. Shout out Prophecy.
Prophecy Film Studios.
Okay.
I've been there a couple times because we did a music video with Tulip. I think it was the first music video I did with them. Part of it was shot there, and they have like a blacked out room with like laser lights and shit.
Oh.
So we did it there, and then they have like another side to it where there's like a bunch of different sets in like one bigger kind of warehouse room. So that's where we did that.
Okay.
They had the jail set, which is what we rented, and then but then they had like one room that's just like all like money.
Oh yeah, it's like shells,
for like a rap
bricks
video
of money and
really?
like gold bars and like a gold money counter and like diamonds laying out all over there.
Yeah, that was sick. Well, that
like,
one,
dude, the next one should just be a heist.
dude, like that was attached. Like it was one big room. Like the jail cell was like one side, but then like on the other side there was that little set he was saying where it was like gold bar. I don't even know what it was. A bank vault, maybe?
Yeah, like a vault.
Like
type
gold
of thing.
bars and cash and jewels and rubies and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, it would have been so funny if we just like shot a couple scenes in there for no reason. There's no explanation.
Thrown in the video, like, what the fuck is that?
But yeah, it was pretty. But
It'll be that moment where you're like, wait, how do we get here?
I mean, like the next room over is like a gym locker room, like with like
a high school.
Yeah, like basketballs and trophies and shit in there. Like,
lockers.
Yeah,
Stuff.
they have another like section that has like a cloud room or like a money room where there's just like $100 bills plastered all over the walls.
That's my favorite room, yo.
Yeah,
That's my favorite room.
They do a lot of like really awesome hip hop video stuff there, and they also have a videographer there that you can hire and stuff. So check them out. You know, very very affordable, very awesome people. They were super accommodating too. You know, we needed like some extra lights. They hooked us up with that. You know, so they made it very easy for us for sure.
That's really cool. That's a smart idea, especially like nowadays where everybody's needing to film shit like at all times, and that's like finding locations and stuff like that.
All the artists are making their own content now, right?
Yeah,
there's no such thing as like label budgets unless you're a huge artist. So stuff like that is probably a great business idea to have. You know.
Yeah, I've seen people even do it just like their whole shtick is like for like social media influencers, and they build the same places. Like he's like, you can pay whatever, take some pictures, there you go.
I think they have like those houses like full of TikTokers and stuff. They all like crazy. That's how they like basically pay their rent. Is just like making content all day.
They like split a mansion like 15 ways.
So they look
video.
So they look
videos
like they have
all day long.
Yeah.
I always wonder if they like have to book like their section, like their time slots in. Like, okay, I'll get
if
the
someone
big
walks
room
in the background, they're like, "Oh, it's so annoying! You're in my shot." Yeah, right.
I'm doing this dance right now. Okay.
Pretty sure I've watched shows.
What a nightmare that would be to live in a house full of people like that.
Literally a nightmare. Yeah. Also, I do want to say shout out to Marco.
Oh, dude, big time.
Absolutely.
Polarized my films on social media. That's who filmed the video. And he's awesome. He's sick as fuck. Or can I say that?
Yeah. Oh, we cussing, baby.
No, you can't say sick.
Okay, my bad.
You can't say sick, dude. Yeah.
He was as fuck. But no, dude, he rules, man. And people should hit him up for any kind of live filming, music videos, whatever.
No, he's super cool. I want to see more of his creative eye on music videos and stuff like that.
Definitely.
Well, it's definitely something that he's trying to build his portfolio. Yeah. You know, so I definitely think, just in the last few that he's done, it's like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the first ones that I saw that he did that I was like, damn, this is really fucking sick, was the one he did with Conningsore, our buddies from Austin.
Oh, yeah.
And very like simple idea, right? They're just like in a white room, and then there's like a lot of projection stuff, but it turned out looking so dope.
Yeah, that one's sick.
And then he's been doing a couple with Skyboss and stuff like that. So it's just like I think he's gonna be starting to get a lot more business, especially after these next few come out, because really he's just upping his game on the quality.
Because I haven't seen it yet. I'm saving that, but the little teasers and everything for it, just like me seeing because I think I really got to know Marco when he started like his videography. Like he had been doing it maybe for like a few months, and I think we I had seen some of his stuff, and so I've kept up with him and seen like the progression of it, and it's so fucking cool when you get to see like that out of a band, out of someone who's doing like him doing videography. It's really cool to see the progression, but seeing I think in the music videos, and even like something like the one that y'all did together, he gets to flex a little bit more of that creative muscle with the videography that he did. So I think he's having fun with it, and like he's gonna obviously keep pursuing it because he's been going kind of hard on it for like a long time and has no sign of stopping.
I think he just made a post a couple days ago saying like been my own boss for 2.5 years, and like
wild.
If you think about like 2.5 years of diving into something, I know he dabbled with it before he took that on full time, but still 2.5 years is crazy to see how good he's gotten in that amount of time. Yeah. So it's pretty dope. And he's been a homie of ours for a few not a few years, pretty good amount of time. At this point, I guess it's been like
he's been a homie for a minute,
6 or so, and we kind of like knew each other ish through old bands and stuff back in the day. So it's like it was awesome to get to work with him, because it's not just like a random person we hired. It's like a friend who likes our music, you know what I mean? So it's even more fun, I think, that way. To
more of like a personal almost touch.
For sure.
Oh, I know they're going to take care of this.
Yeah, exactly.
When you were going back to like, hey, we want to push this a little more because we know we like this music. Like we put like a lot of work into it. We want to make sure we're doing whatever we can to promote it. Same thing with like when you work with somebody who's doing it. Oh, okay, I trust them to do the same, to take care of like the shit that I made just the same as I would,
Yeah, I mean, we felt the same about him. Like we trust him to make us like a cool video with, we didn't have like a ton of time to prepare. We had found like the set that just happened to work. We just half-assed the storyline, and then like he put together a super sick finished product. It was great. And he's just a good boy. He's a cute boy.
He's a good boy.
Just a good boy.
Good boy. Polarize my films. Y'all check him out. He's super sick. But I want to. Did you track everything for this EP? Like
everything's all in house.
So that is one of the another
made by scratch.
Another super big jump in like just sound is the sound on this like EP is huge. Like it sounds really big. Like I went back. I'm like, what's the difference between like the last release to this? And like there is a big difference in it. So this was this all like in house?
All in house. Which so was our last EP as well.
Okay,
but our last EP was almost 3 years ago at this point. So I've definitely grown a bunch as an engineer since then. In the tracking side of things and mixing, I've just learned a ton more. And, we didn't rush the process at all, so I think that had a huge part in it as well. Just taking our time to get everything right, getting the right takes, all that stuff, making it sound good going into the computer first, and then, doing all the polishing afterwards. But it was a goal to like make the mix very aggressive, just because, again, when me and Billy talk about it, we're talking about OG deathcore stuff like old school Suicide Silence and Casey Strain, Despise Icon, Joffrey, all that stuff. Those older productions, which may not be like great compared to industry standard now overall, they just had a certain energy in the mix. Right, that was just aggressive. So that was like a goal for me. It was to like capture that energy of the old school deathcore mixes, but also having a little bit of like the modern polish on it, so it could compete with stuff being put out today. Right, but just making it sound pissed off.
It definitely fucking did that. But how does that feel for you, being able to see again both of those projects and seeing how is that like kind of almost like a measurement that you could look at and be like, oh, look how different it is.
For sure, dude. I mean, granted, the material is way different than our last EP, so you can't really compare it in that sense. But just as an overall production, I mean, I definitely am a lot more proud of it. Material aside, it's just like the sound of it. It's like, damn, I actually will listen to this now and be like, fuck yeah. I'm so proud of it. Proud of, what we were able to capture and put together as a band, but also myself as like an engineer. Like, if this was another band, not my band, and it sounded this good, like, holy shit, that's a good feeling. So
yeah,
but also so fucking happy that it's done, because like recording your own band is so much stress. Not just because I think it's because it's like, okay, like it's easy to get like caught in the loop of like making revision and revision and revision, right? Because it's my own band, so technically I'm not on a time limit, right?
Yeah.
But it gets to the point where you can't just keep doing that, right? Because it's either going to start sounding worse or you're just not going to stop. So now that it's done, I mean, it's been done for a few months at this point. It's felt great because now I can actually enjoy it. Like, damn, we have an awesome EP that we get to put out. And when we started moving into like the lyric, getting the lyric video put together and the music video stuff, like Billy's on lead on all that. So I'm like, just let the boy go.
Oh yeah,
it's like I did my part.
It's like the less decisions I have to make now at this point. It's
time
so
for him
great.
to kick off the boots, go lay on the couch, take a little nap,
Get a little foot rub,
let daddy get in there.
Yeah, dude. No,
Who does the foot rub?
Well, it depends which night of the week.
Yeah.
No, but I think what else helped Cody too a lot is just also with the production is just having me help, because I helped a lot this time around. He was forgetting how to, like, how do you press record, like stuff like that. And I would just watch over him and be like, it's that button,
Yeah.
And so that just the process was
Came in clutch, man.
really efficient.
Really
so that
did.
was cool.
Yeah. I mean, matter of fact, moving forward, I don't know how I'm going to do other projects without him there. So
I'm probably going to
might have to up the rates so I can start paying for it. Yeah.
Got a new employee.
A consultant. I'm just a consultant.
Yeah,
That's
he's
it.
just a consultant.
Emotional support consultant. Okay, so you said that you take a lot of the reins on like the music video and stuff like that. What does that entail, or like what does that mean?
Worst time to take a drink. Sorry. I've been kind of honestly just kind of handling or running point on like any of the little things we've been doing to kind of promote. I mean, pretty much everything from like looking for like the album art, setting up. I honestly kind of came up with like the basic like skeleton of the music video idea, ordered all the props and kind of got all that ready. And then just all the little stuff like uploading the music and trying, reaching out to like reaction accounts and, the YouTube channel where we wanted to put out the music video and the, Slam Worldwide to put out the lyric video and just all that like really boring kind of like prep work and just the efforts to like get the music out a little bit. I've been trying to like get our social medias up a little bit too, because we've always been not the best at that either, getting like a lot of followers and stuff. So I'm trying to get that up and like, we have a TikTok now. Yeah. And so just all that.
Bringing us into the new ages, man.
Yeah, dude. I know.
We just got one too.
Yeah.
We didn't have one.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
we just got one like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But because I was always, I use TikTok, but I'm like, dude, if I put NoiseROT on TikTok, like I have to whole ass it. Like I can't, not do that. So I was putting it off. I'm like, I'm not ready to whole ass it, whatever. And I was just like, okay. I was like trying to make like a video a day on Instagram, and I'm like, if I'm fucking doing that, I might as well do it. So I didn't tell anybody. Like I think I told the team after I had made. I was like, hey, I made it. I just uploaded the stuff that we had, and I'm gonna try to make stuff every day. And so far, it's 3 weeks, a little over, about to hit our 4th week this week, so a month. And I've uploaded every day. Like every day has had something.
That's hard, dude.
It's hard as fuck.
It's really
honestly
hard.
like I was like, okay, like I was putting too much pressure on like my ideas, and I'm like, no, it's gotta do all this, and I'm like, it really doesn't. Like I just like, because it's quick shit. Like, I'm like, I can do it. So I was like, do we already have the podcast? The podcast has fucking clips. The clips can go up. I go, we have like the Rotted Root stuff that we do. I was like, those can go up. Okay, so that's like standard stuff. So I just need to make stuff specific for TikTok. So like
the new like stuff you've been doing on Fridays, I think, is like where you're talking about a new song from an artist.
I was like,
stuff like that.
I was
Like,
like,
great.
that's easy. crazy? And I was like, I was going to overcomplicate that because I was like, you know what song should I pick? Like, there's so many. Like, do I have to pick a good one? Do I have to do an analysis? And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go with just what's the first thing that I listened to today. Yeah. Doesn't have to be good. Doesn't have to be whatever. Like, it's just be like, what was I interested in? Because that's also a big thing. And I think it's what kind of works for bands too, is like, how do I put my actual personality on here? Like, and people are either going to fuck with it or they're not. Like, it's fine. But if I try to pander and whatever it is, like that it doesn't work for me, and I'm gonna feel like shit if I'm like faking a personality for it. So I'm like, I'm just gonna fucking be me. But yeah, that, and then the other easy idea was like, oh, what bands are on here that I'm discovering on here, and I've found some cool shit, and I'm like, oh fuck, okay, cool, easy way to get like obsessed with stuff. But yeah, TikTok's a whole nother fucking thing. Who even knows? It's going away or whatever.
I don't know. Yeah, it is. But kudos to you for posting every day.
It's fun.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to make it fun.
Kind of circling back to what we were just talking about too. It's like, Billy has always been more of like a business minded person. Like ever since we've been friends, even like back 15, 16 years old, when he had a job, he's always talking about saving money at that time. It just makes sense.
Just little to have just doing taxes.
Yeah, dude. It's like, so, and even when we first started the band too, just the business side of things, it's like he can kind of assess and pick up like what we should do this way, or at least like lay out the options for us to give, to choose from. So it just seemed like that was going to be the best choice. If he has the time to do it and he's willing to do it, might as well just let him take the reins on it, because anything else is just us kind of talking in circles, right? So it's like you make a decision or give us a couple options, we'll go from there, and it's made the whole process smoother. So
it has been a nice, a good. It hasn't been like everything's been pretty smooth. Like all the decisions have been. Yeah,
there's
smooth.
Not like really butting heads or anything, which we've never really had too much of that. I don't think. I mean, maybe a little bit here or there, but probably that was like more in when we were taking the band very seriously and putting more stress on it.
When Matt dyed his hair blonde, I was mad about that. You were mad about that? But it's been years now. What can I do?
Yeah, he's got vetoed.
Yeah. But no, yeah, for sure.
But I think that works when you have somebody in the band who's good at like different parts. Like, if you can delegate responsibilities to like, hey, if you're good at this, and you take over that, and like if you're good at, but as long as everyone's doing something, then like it all works out. But the hindering and like decision making, when I was in a band, we had that so much where it was like, picking a fucking logo, and it's like, well, someone doesn't like this.
Picking a band name.
Oh my God.
Oh, you know what we did? Like, my old band was Under Oblivion. How we named that is literally we each person in the band wrote 2 words on a piece of paper, and we threw them in a hat, and we pulled out 2.
No way.
Honestly,
really?
And I'm like, that's the best way to do it.
Awesome, because that's so stressful.
Just go with whatever comes out. And
I think we had 2 people pick. So there was another alternative, which was like, it didn't make sense. And then someone picked out, just like, this is it. And it's like Under Oblivion, which doesn't mean anything. It means under nothing. Like, I was like, it sounds cool. We're like, go with that. Like, I'm fine with that. Because I was always like that. It's like, but it works. Like,
it could have been anything, though. You guys are taking a risk.
We did, yeah. Because I was like, I don't even remember what everybody else wrote, but we all wrote like weird like words in this.
All right, guys, we're Banana Flamingo now. That's it.
That's what we picked. Got to go with it.
Which band names these days? Who? I really wonder how many people like actually. You know what? Let's segue into that. What's Mona Borland? I've never known.
Dude, well, real quick before, I think it was funny that I feel like you were about to touch on is like one thing I've just noticed is I'm starting to see like a bunch. There's like everybody is just like agreeing that all the band names are gone basically. So I'm starting to see all these new like metal bands coming up just using old bands names, but then just putting like their state at the end of it or something. Which is like, I'm not even hating on it, but it's just kind of funny that we've gotten to that point where it's almost like everyone's just like, just use it. Just put Texas at the end. Which I get it. I'm like, I totally get that.
It's so hard to be original, right?
It's nearly impossible.
Especially when you try to force it. Like, it's just like, you're going to drive yourself insane. And I think like when we were coming up with band names, we had like a list that we would all just, like what you're saying, just throw in ideas. We built a list or whatever. And there was a bunch. For me personally, if I'm trying to come up with like a serious name, I can't. My brain doesn't work that way. But the Mona Borland thing it's a silly name, and it's from a silly thing. It's from the show Home Improvement.
Okay.
From the 90s, a sitcom.
Tim the Soul Man Taylor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
90s.
Al Borland.
So he has that
Borland,
show
yeah.
within a show, Tool Time, right? And then they're always like, he's always trying to play pranks on Al. So one of the episodes, he brings out like a painting covered up, and then he announces like, ladies and gentlemen, the Mona Borland. And it's Al Borland's face on the Mona Lisa. And so it was like one of those things where it's like, the name's dumb. It's from something
dumb as hell.
stupid that we all just think is silly. And we couldn't agree on a serious name, and we didn't all hate that name. So we're like, fuck it, let's just do that. I mean,
Holy shit.
we're kind of silly band anyway.
I gotta find that clip now.
It's like no matter how hard we've tried to be
recently.
serious, completely. It's like it's just not us 100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's hard to be. I wish I could remember some of the other things we were considering.
Dude, me too.
I'll never remember.
It might be
but-
in the Facebook Messenger archive somewhere
Dude,
deep
you have
down
to
there.
7 or 8 years
Think through
ago.
those.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
want to see some of that stuff.
I know.
It's a silly name. I like it. It's just people, I think, have a hard time remembering it, which is, I mean, it's understandable.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I think most of like what I think about if like naming a band like now is just like something that you like, but as far as putting a lot of like thought into something, like that's not my bag. Like as far as like a band name, because I'm like I really like. It's probably because when we were in a band, when we were trying to name it before, because that was the last straw. We were just like throw fucking words into a hat
Yeah.
because nobody could like agree on anything. Because like I think I put a lot of like thought into one of the names, and then like it got shit on like immediately. I can't remember what it was, but I remember just the feeling of like,
You're just
oh
like,
shit, like
damn it.
man,
I thought
fuck
that
it, I'm
was
not
so
gonna.
cool.
Yeah, and it was probably
brutal.
like, dumb.
Oh, dude, we've all been there.
It's
man.
brutal when
Yeah,
you
we've
suggest a
all
band name that gets rejected immediately.
Yeah.
That's a sad day,
It
dude.
is tough.
Yeah, ever since then I only have, and it's still like a project that I want to create someday. But I came up with a name, and I'm like, I like that. I'm gonna use this. No, I don't want to say it. but no, even like random things like with band names that you have to think of now is like the what is it? The SEO, the searchability of it. Because I see a lot of people using like movies and like other stuff, and I'm like, bro, like you have to.
You're getting
outcompete
buried.
that.
Yeah.
Like and even things like that. Like I forget what band I have. There's these friends of mine. They have a band called The Deep End. I love those guys. It is. I remember when they first like played a show. There was like 10 pages for
There
the Deep
used to be
End.
a venue called the Deep End back in the day.
Probably.
In Dallas somewhere,
But there was
I
like,
feel
I remember there was like 10, and I'm just like, I don't
Maybe.
know which one these guys are. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
and I realized like, oh, that sucks. And because I never really thought about that. Like, oh, like you really need to pay attention, like how easy it is going to be, to search it, and then like even like as simple as like, hey, like this is the band name we're thinking. Let me Google that and see what
I
else is
know.
going to come up, or if you find another band like immediately or whatever. But it's just like weird things that like, and who wants to think about? But you kind of have to.
I think in that sense it probably worked out for us because it's like
There's not
you
a lot
look
of-
us up and we're the only band that's going to come up, or
Yeah.
a bunch of just random women from all over the country.
Well, there
the
is-
main
there
one.
is
There's
a
a lady photographer from Oklahoma named
And
Mona Borland.
She probably doesn't know we exist, but we love her.
Or she's
a photographer?
Googled herself at some point and
Y'all
thought,
should go
what
do
the
a
hell
shoot
is
with
this?
That would be so. I always wonder if that happened.
Bro,
but
y'all should do a photo shoot with
I
her.
would love.
Mona
We
Borland
did say
by
that
Mona
before. We did
Borland.
say that
Full
before.
circle.
Full
That-
circle.
Yeah.
That'd
That
be sick.
honestly would be
We said
pretty
that one
funny.
time,
Yeah.
a long time ago, and I'd love to have her out to a show. Maybe we catch a little dinner with her. I want to get to know her. Like,
Yeah, we'll give her some free
What
merch.
makes you
If
tick?
you're
Who
watching
are you?
this, Mona, free
Yes.
merch.
Completely convince her that you created this band because of her.
We
she
named
might be
her.
my future wife. For all I don't know. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. But like, it might be a love connection. I don't know.
It might be. Don't miss it.
possibly.
All right? Oklahoma's not that far.
It's not that far.
It
Not that
isn't.
far. All right.
It's not that great either, though.
So she's coming down here. All right. We'll make it happen. all right.
for sure.
Actually, we got her. She's right here. Mona, Mona, come on out.
Oh my god.
You are not the Mona.
That's fucking cool. Yeah, man. I mean, the band's been around since 2016, right? And then as far as you said, there's only one member really wasn't there from like the beginning.
Yeah, our
right?
bass player Josh.
Little baby Josh.
But I mean, to me, he is like one of the foundational members because he's been consistent with us since he joined the band, which was shortly after we released our second EP. So it was
Okay.
like 2017.
Oh, okay.
So I mean,
Speak for yourself. He's not foundational for me.
oh, wow.
He's expendable.
he's foundational.
No, I'm just kidding. I love Josh. I love
Yeah.
Josh. I agree with
Josh is the best. I mean, he's just like super chill dude, right? You know, he's a little wacky guy.
No,
sometimes.
Josh fucking rules. Dude. He just tried out one day, and then we were just like, Yeah,
he's like the epitome of the best band member because he's so chill and he's so go with the flow. So it's like literally like whatever we're wanting to do, he's just like, fuck yeah, dude, let's do it.
He just likes to, eat hot dogs and all kinds of variations of hot dogs.
A lot of Buffalo Wild Wings.
He loves gas station food and Buffalo Wild Wings and stuff like that. But
and he lays down a good low end.
He's a good boy.
Yeah, Josh sounds cool as fuck.
Yeah.
He's cool.
He is cool.
And he actually he grew up in near LA, some suburb outside of LA or something, but he grew up with a lot of musicians that ended up doing stuff, but we just went and saw Lamb of God a few weekends ago.
One of his best friends is their current drummer.
Yeah, he's childhood friends with their drummer.
He used to play in a band with him back in Cali.
Their first band.
High school. Yeah.
Wow.
The Lamb of God's first band was with Josh, and they also kind of knew the drummer from Suicide Silence. They saw them a bunch in the early 2000s, and all kinds of just random LA metal people that ended up kind of doing stuff.
Which would have been so sick if you think about, especially at that time, dude, 07, 08, being local to go see Suicide Silence or As Blood Runs Black.
Animosity, I think, is also from out there.
So, I mean, that's really
he's
sick.
A lucky bastard.
Yeah. And maybe some of that plays into also why he's so, stoked about the new stuff for him as his side. I can't speak for him, but I would assume he grew up in that scene, and a lot of the birth of that sound. So I think that's pretty sick that we get to do it now.
Yeah. Plus, Josh is just usually stoked on everything.
Yeah.
No matter what we write.
Yeah, like I said, easiest going freaking person. It's it's wild.
Yeah. What is it? Damn it, what is it? I used to have a friend that literally just damn it, I can't remember. I don't even know where the fuck that was going. It was some quote where he was just anytime anything cool was happening, just I'm just happy to be here. And
exactly. That's totally.
That's basically Josh
that's
right
Jay
there.
Bird.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense. But yeah, I mean the band definitely looks like it has a lot of fun when they play, and I talk about this quite a bit, but that's a huge deal for me. Now when I see bands or find bands that I really like, it's do you guys have fun while you're playing? Does it look like you like what you're doing right now? Are you into it? And energy is one thing that Mo and Borland has never gone without at any show that I've ever seen you every iteration, and comes across in the music too. So I think that's something you've definitely cultivated over the lifespan of the band, which is cool that no matter what the genre or new stuff you guys try, that energy sticks through, it comes through no matter what.
Appreciate that. That's a cool compliment, dude.
Yeah.
Cool.
I would definitely say that's for sure something that we've always tried to do, especially because it just isn't that fun when you go watch a band that just stands there, Now, there are bands that I like that do that, and there's a good reason why some of those bands do that, because they're playing insane shit, but we've never played stuff that's been so crazy to where we can't move around and have fun on stage. And even more so with this new stuff, that was one thing too, is man, I just want to write some ignorant breakdowns and riffs that I could just fucking headbang and go crazy and not have to overthink while I'm playing. You know what I mean? Yep. So, and it's also fun to look out and see people just being damn.
I did that specifically twice during the EP, very prominently. Where I had to go back and I'm I was that they're gonna like that. I was it's good. I was
Mission accomplished.
There's a real stank face on it.
Appreciate that.
But it's cool as fuck. I am super excited for everybody to hear this. Thank you for sharing it with me, because
My pleasure. Trust me, it's been burning a hole in our pockets.
Yeah, we're excited to show anybody, man.
Well, that's that's kind of cool that you're. I mean, you said it's done for a few months now, but that's not a crazy amount of time. From what I've seen, people who hold on to stuff, and I'm that's nuts. How long sometimes people hold on.
I have some bands that I've recorded, over a year ago at this point, and they still haven't released it. They're, which is smart. I mean, they're putting plans together to promote it properly and all that. But even I'm not in the band. I just recorded. I'm man, I'm ready for this band to put this shit out. It's really dope. It's dope stuff. I want them to hear it. But yeah, it's everyone has their own timeline.
Yeah,
and for us, I feel even though it's not that much time, we were like planning ahead, right?
Yeah.
As far as the release. But yeah, we worked that long on it. We're ready to get it out, you know? It's a new sound for us, so we're just excited for people to hear like the new Mona, or at least this new iteration of Mona.
Yeah.
You know? So
Yeah, man.
No, it's like it's funny, and I'll run this idea by you. But I had a friend who was showing me a song. He's like, "Yeah, I did this song," and he showed it to me. I'm like, "Oh shit! Like, is it out?" He's like, "No," and I'm like, "Well," and it was like old. It was like two whatever, like months old. Not months, 2 years old or something.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, "Why don't you put it out?" He's like, "Nah, I don't want to do it." And I'm like, "But you give it." He's like, "Just leak it." And he's like, "No." I was like, "Give it to me. I will leak it." But it's so this is what I mean, like by content and like ideas.
Yeah,
like now,
yeah.
like every dumb idea that I have, what I think is dumb, I'm like, what if we use that? And I like, so now one of my ideas is like I'm hitting up bands who are working on music and stuff. I'm like, I go, it's not a real leak or whatever. I go, but if you give me like 15 to 30 seconds of a song that you're not using to promote anywhere else, like it's not your single, it's not your music video, a random 30 seconds anywhere in like the EP, the album, the single, whatever, I go, and let me leak that part like for you.
That'd
and then
be cool.
it'll just create hype around it.
Yeah,
kinda,
yeah.
You know what I mean? But I was like, we were like, yeah, like leaks by NoiseROT, like or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's kind of, but then there used to be like what is it?
I know what you're
Kingdom
talking
Leaks.
about.
Kingdom
Yes,
Leaks.
Kingdom
Oh,
Yeah, so
shit.
something like I was like, oh, like that kind of worked, but I mean, at least in this one, it would be like consensual.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, dude,
Consensual leaking.
Consensual leaking. Yeah,
That sounds right.
That's a pretty good
That's
name
a good-
for an EP.
That's a good
Consensual.
grindcore
Yeah.
promo or something. There's something in there.
it sounds right. I'm like,
Pin that
kinda
for
sounds
later.
wrong.
It is wild to think about that, like the days of like Kingdom Leaks and stuff,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's crazy how many albums got leaked to that site, like,
Yeah.
you know, weeks or a month or so before the album ever came out. And I mean, there's obviously the internet because that's where it was leaked, but
Yeah.
social media and sharing stuff like that just wasn't what it is today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, it's just wild that whoever was running that site was able to like get in with, you know, either like a pre-production assistant at a studio that maybe got a hold of the files and all this stuff, was, you know, hacking accounts and stuff. I mean, maybe they did
People
that
probably
too.
just started sending him stuff at some point.
I think,
Yeah, maybe
eventually,
bands-
I'm pretty sure that was like a marketing tactic.
Yeah.
Like it was that big where it was like, you know what? Let's just send some.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
send it.
But it's just so crazy, like markets like that, how fast they change. Because I feel like that was such a big thing, Kingdom Leaks, and,
Yeah.
and like albums getting basically promoted on there, right? And what that maybe lasted like 4 or 5 years total. Now it's just gone. Nothing like that exists, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just weird to like look back and like kind of see the phases of like what was going on in the music scene and stuff.
No, yeah. I saw actually a clip today where it's like an interview talking to Lil Wayne. And he's like, yeah, so like I want to apologize for all the music that I stole from you via LimeWire, Napster, and this and that. And like Lil Wayne's just like laughing. He's like, nah, you don't have to apologize for that. Like I made those
sick.
songs for you. But it's funny how like that was like
yeah, dude,
the normal. I
LimeWire.
remember
Yeah,
I
dude.
killed I
On the
absolutely
family computer.
murdered the computer.
Oh, dude.
They stole. It's funny because I fucked the laptop up, like where
Oh,
you
dude.
couldn't turn it on.
Yeah.
and it was just like those pop-up ads that didn't pop up. It was just playing like ads.
Oh,
Like
Well,
yeah,
dude, because
dude.
it didn't matter, like whatever album you're looking for, it's like you really don't know if that's what actually the file is, right?
It's
So
just
you're
what
just
it's
taking
called,
a
yeah.
chance. You got to hit download, go to school for the day, and come back. Oh, it's at 87%. You know, like oh shit.
I was so happy. What happened is like one of my neighbors broke in and stole my laptop, and it was that one.
shit.
So I never
No
used it because it was
way.
like all fucked up. So they stole it. But like I guess it was covered under the house insurance or whatever. So like they paid out the full amount of what like I paid for that laptop, and it was a shitty laptop. But like they paid me like $2,000 for it. So I got a
What?
whole new like set. I mean, it was a while
joke's
ago.
on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a whole new thing. I was like,
prices
oh,
back
like
then.
I was like, oh, I got a new fucking computer. You got a fucked up one, dude. Good.
Dude, hell yeah. That worked out for
Good
you.
luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, you know what's funny? I was just thinking about kind of adjacent to Kingdom Leaks, not really, but like music websites that are not really a thing anymore, but like Dat Piff. Do you guys remember that?
I don't.
What? You don't remember Dat Piff? You don't either? Oh my god, dude! What the hell?
Well,
What's
he
that
is
bit?
a little young.
What the heck? Okay, well if you don't know it, then,
No, I don't.
Dude, it was just like I don't know. I guess it was like the mid 2000s, early 2000s. Like when I was in like high school, kind of in the late 2000s, of just like there's just hip hop mixtapes. Just like you could just download like any mixtape, and it was just a crazy huge library of everything, new stuff. Lil Wayne had so many mixtapes on there. I mean, everybody did.
crazy. No, I never
gotta
heard
look
of
it
that.
up. Oh man.
Nah. But I do remember like realizing like what the difference was between like mixtapes and like albums, like, but it's like a way to artists get around like their labels, like it's free, and I can just still put out fucking music or whatever.
True.
But that's really fun. Yeah, the state of like music and how we consume it is like a change, like so incredible.
Crazy.
So
crazy.
Because I realized like actually with starting the TikTok and stuff like that, I find a lot of I curated the NoiseROT algorithm to like bring up bands and music related stuff. So it's all that. Yeah. So I've been finding a lot of music on there. But I've been really receptive to be able to hear like 30 seconds of whatever clip is playing and then feeling like I need to go listen to this. It has worked like
nice.
At least 5 different times that I can think of within the last 3 weeks. Like where I was just like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. And immediately went to look it up. More than someone sending me an entire link, because I guess they hit it right on like, this is the good part of the song, or this is the part that's catching your attention. Yeah. But which I was like, is it gonna make me just like, let's stick around to this? So I guess that's like a really like important thing to think of, like with whatever you're putting out there, it's got to be like the good shit or whatever.
That's how we're just conditioned now. I think just everything, all the content we consume is just so like jam packed, and it has to be so efficient to like. Because like nobody really has the attention span they used to have, including myself. I'm not like that young either, But yeah, I mean, it's like you got to hear the 10 best seconds of the song to be like, I might check that out.
Because there's a lot that you can check out. That's why. Like I'm just right there. I'm like, dude, there's so much that I could just go listen. And it to me, it overwhelms me when I'm like looking. I'm like,
for sure.
Oh, there's all these bands. Like, which one first? And me, I'm like, I like to play the album from the beginning to the end. And I'm like, if I get interrupted, it's like a movie for me. Like I need to start it all over. Like it's not going to make sense to me or whatever.
That's a commitment.
Yeah. Like, so like I've done that. I think I still haven't listened to the whole New Era like album because I keep doing that. Like it interrupts me and I'm like, I
think we talked about something similar last time I was here, was like how I like to consume whole albums. Like if I'm listening to something, it's typically I pick an album to listen to and not jump around. So, it's so different for me to just see like such short based content all the time. But I mean, I get it. I understand like why it's like that.
Yeah.
It's just, I always think back to like a memory of in high school when Define the Great Line came out. At that time I was actually grounded. It was during the summer. Oh, shit. And Matt actually went and bought the CD for me, and while my parents were at work, came to my house and dropped it off for me so I could listen to it. It's just crazy to think about that. Like now like an album drops.
You were gonna listen to it.
Now an album drops. It's like literally pick up my phone if I want to, put some AirPods in, Bluetooth to the speaker, whatever.
So easy.
And boom, it's there. But for me, it was like devastating because one of my favorite bands ever was dropping a new album, and I had no way to listen to it, but my homie pulled through and brought me the CD. Like, it's just crazy to think about. That's what it took to listen to an album.
There was definitely a lot more effort, and it was very purposeful. Like, when you were listening to something, it's because, like, that's what, not only, like, what you had, but that's what you chose. Even, like, when I never had, like, I don't think I really had, access to, like, a computer with internet till, like, I was way late into, like, high school. Actually, no, it was college when I had that, like, laptop. So I was always at friends' houses for their computer or whatever, but I had a friend who was like, that was our CD plug, and like he was like, go, you all you have to do is bring him blanks, and then he's like, write down what you want, and I'll put it on there. So even then, like you were still limited to what you could put on a CD, so you still have to be very purposeful with like what you're listening to, on these. If you were buying, like going to buy music. I remember leaving. I was super into like A Day to Remember, and I remember when they came out with Homesick. Like I was in high school. And I left during lunch to like drive to Best Buy and like to just buy that CD and come back. And then like my music teacher let me just spend that period listen, because I was like, I need to listen to this right now. Like I can't wait till I get home or whatever. Yeah. Like it's got to be right now. And he was like, all right. So he let me like use the computer and listen to that. But like how important that was.
Yeah, it's a good teacher.
Yeah, no, and he was like super. So he like I think was in there like listening to it with me. Like he's like, oh, like cool. But yeah, I was like,
he's like, I like their old shit better.
He's like, oh shit. That whole the music being at your fingertips is something that has changed, like I guess maybe just like viewpoints or even like how you decide what you're going to consume. And I don't know, like there's times where I end up going to like very familiar all the time, and I'm like,
oh yeah, totally.
And it's because it's easy, it's comfortable, it's I know it's basically like I know I'm gonna have a good time if I listen to this.
Yeah, that's like comfort food, baby.
Yeah, it's the same concept and everything. Like it just works across like the board, but yeah, I honestly think like luckily TikTok has kind of like given me that I don't know what you would call it, but kind of just like that drive to like, oh, I want to discover music, like all of it. So like if I hear something that I like, I'm like, let me go hear all of, the first, at least the first top 5 songs. If they convince me, then I'll listen to fucking everything. And I found I found a band called Differences out of California, Good Terms, and then I found some bands out locally here that I don't even know of. So I'm like, dude, that's I like that there's always stuff to discover, and there's still stuff that makes me just as excited to like listen to.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a good feeling. But yeah, I honestly think like new and old fans to like Mona Borland are gonna really, really like the EP, or gonna get you're gonna get like a lot of people interested in it, and I think the shows are just gonna go even crazier once people like know the songs and know what they're ready for.
Dude, I hope so, man. I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, but thank you guys for stopping by. Thank you guys for making the time.
Thank you for having us.
If you need absolutely anything to help with promoting stuff like that, let us know. We're always definitely willing to
appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
Can I say something real quick to the people?
Go for it.
So we have a show coming up, opening up for Oceano, and it's September 19th, right?
Yeah,
I believe so. It's on a Thursday. We're selling tickets, so hit us up, please.
Yes, we have tickets to like 22.
Yeah, 22 versus like 30 plus online. So no brainer. We'll deliver them. We'll hold on to you. We'll hold on to them. We will hold on to you.
Do that too.
Yeah. But we'll hold on to them. We'll call whatever. Make it easy for y'all. So help us out and come see a great show.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Actually, what's the name of the EP?
Maybe It All Finds Me Again.
Maybe It All Finds Me Again.
Yeah.
Out August
30th, I think. It's a Friday.
Yeah.
And 4 songs. Music video probably came out like 1 to 2 weeks ago on BBTV. Go check that out too.
Yeah. At this point,
yeah.
And yeah.
But OC is going to get a little sneak peek.
So. Yeah, we're going to do something cool. But yeah, thank you guys for making the time. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This was episode 120 with Mona Borland. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Sounds and breakdowns. Better lose your man, we should run away.